Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Charles Frank Show. This is Charles Frank. The Charles Frank Show is brought to you by DebateMeNow.com. I've been on DebateMeNow.com a lot this week, debating people on sports, on politics, on movies, on everything. So check it out. Debate your friends, debate strangers, debate enemies on DebateMeNow.com. Today we're going to be talking about the New York Times endorsement of two candidates. It is endorsement of Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren. Two. Now, that's the first time that the New York Times has ever endorsed two candidates, and I believe that the reason that they're endorsing two candidates is because of all the flack that they're getting for not being an objective news source, but a radically subjective news source. So they are covering their love for Elizabeth Warren, and they're covering it by also endorsing Amy Klobuchar. Now, this is actually very interesting. The New York Times has endorsing presidents all the way back to 1864. And can you guess who the first president that they endorsed? I'll tell you. It was Abraham Lincoln. So this is an ongoing tradition for the New York Times. I've spoken with many people, and they always assumed that New York Times was an objective newspaper, but that is not the case. They have an agenda, and Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, so it wasn't always a Democratic agenda, but they've always had an agenda. They have. That's just the facts. However, they haven't endorsed a Republican president since 1956, and that was Dwight D. Eisenhower. That was the last Republican president that they endorsed, and they've been endorsing Democratic presidents ever since 1960, and that started with John F. Kennedy. Let's go down the list. John F. Kennedy, 1960, 1964, Johnson, 68, Humphrey, 72, McGovern, 76, Carter, 80, Carter, 84, Mondale, 88, Dukakis, 92, Clinton, 96, Clinton, 2000, Al Gore, 2004, John Kerry, 2008, Barack Obama, 2012, Barack Obama, 2016, Hillary Clinton, and this is the first time where it is two. It's going to be Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar, and I think that it's the first time because the media's credibility has been pulled out from under them, and they're trying their best to still push their agenda, but to seem like they're not all in cahoots with just one individual. And that individual is, yes, it's Elizabeth Warren. Amy Klobuchar is a great way to cover up your tracks. Why? Because she's the other woman. She's the only other woman in the race right now, and she has no shot of winning. So they cover up their tracks by putting someone else out there so that they say, we're not just pushing for Warren. Look, we also have Amy Klobuchar in there. Now, I read the whole daunting editorial page on it, and they go into why Bernie Sanders is not fit, why Joe Biden's not fit, and why Yang and Buttigieg aren't fit as well. Those are the four that they covered who just won't cut it. When they talk about Joe Biden, they talk about his age, and they say he is 77 years old. He has gaffes, which are not a big deal, but they are blown up on social media, and he might not have what it takes to defeat Trump. Now, they say it's time for Joe Biden to pass the baton to the next generation. Joe Biden is 77. Elizabeth Warren is 70. That's not the next generation. That's still the baby boomers who won't leave us alone. So Joe Biden's out because of his age and because of his gaffes and because he can't beat Trump, apparently. Buttigieg, they say he's out. They don't really give that good of a reason, but they just say he won't cut it. Now, Bernie, they go, okay, this is just what it is. The media doesn't like Bernie. They didn't like Bernie during the Clinton saga, and they don't like Bernie in this saga. They just don't like him. The New York Times and CNN, you could tell from the last CNN debate that they just don't like him. They asked Elizabeth Warren if Bernie said it, and she said yes, and then they asked Bernie if he said it, and he said no, and I'm talking about the if a woman could become president, and he said no, he never said it. And then they say, Elizabeth Warren, what did you feel when Bernie said it? And so they just totally dismissed the fact that Bernie said that he didn't say it. And then there is a hot mic that caught Elizabeth Warren arguing over Bernie Sanders about lying about her on national television. Now, I do believe that Elizabeth Warren knew she was mic'd, and I do believe that she wanted to get a reaction out of Bernie so that she could save her ass. But I don't think the public fell for it. Now, the media is all about Warren, and I don't understand why, because Joe Biden is the front runner. Why are they trying to do this again? Why are they trying to tell the public that what you guys want is not correct? This is what we want. They're just driving a division in the Democratic Party again. Bernie Sanders was organically getting a following through over Hillary Clinton, and they just kept trying to drive him into the ground. Do they not want someone to beat Trump? Because they're just doing it again. They're falling for the same trap. They're falling for the Bernie versus the candidate that they want trap, and it's going to explode again. The number one trend in Twitter about a week back was refund Warren, because she is chastising a good man, Bernie Sanders. His ideas may be radical, but he's a good man. And the media is messing it up for themselves again. So they totally blackball Bernie again. Now, their reasons for doing it is because, again, Bernie's health, and Bernie is too old, and he is going to be 79 when he's elected, and he just suffered a serious heart attack, so his health is under question. And they even say that he went 4 decades of bringing these same ideas, trying to bring them to the mainstream. Elizabeth Warren was a Republican at one point, debating against universal health care, and she totally hijacked Bernie's ideas. Why don't they want the original? And it's obvious that Elizabeth Warren is not authentic with these ideas. She kept going back and forth for Medicare for all and not Medicare for all. She wouldn't answer questions on if the middle class tax would go up. She wouldn't do it. She kept saying costs will go down, but she didn't ever admit that tax would go up until about 2 months after the public and the late night show host, including Stephen Colbert, wanted an answer. Just be authentic. She's not an authentic person. That's why I think that the CNN hot mic act when she confronted Bernie Sanders was Elizabeth Warren just being a nasty person. She started out okay in my eyes. She did. But she's becoming more inauthentic than Hillary Clinton. She won't answer questions directly. It's like she's just let it loose. Let it be. Go Trump. Just let it out. Let us see you. She has been lying her whole life. She lied about her heritage. She's lied about being fired for being pregnant when years before she totally contradicted that story. She is the least authentic person, but for some reason the media wants her. Now, if you could tell me why, I would love for a comment below, because I don't see why. I don't see it. I'm trying to think. I can't think of a reason why the media would want Elizabeth Warren. Maybe they want a woman, and that's why they did two women for the endorsement. But what's wrong with Bernie? Why do people not like Bernie? And why are they going against Joe Biden? I don't get it. I honestly don't get it. I've heard conservative talk shows say that Elizabeth Warren makes the media feel smart. I don't understand that point of view. I just don't understand their strategy, because according to this New York Times post, they just list all the reasons why Trump is the most horrible bad man in the world and everything like that. But they still, it seems like they're just sabotaging themselves. Now, for anyone who says that the media is not biased is completely ludicrous and insane. And that applies to everyone that I personally know. I am baffled that people still don't think the media is biased. Fox News is biased. CNN is biased. MSNBC is actually openly biased. New York Times is biased. These are all propaganda machines. All of them. Every last one of them. Even NPR, who's supposed to be objective, is leaning more liberal. You can just hear it in the opinion. It's not giving us the facts. They're all giving us opinions. Every single human being has an agenda, and not necessarily for themselves, but also because agendas sell newspapers. Agendas get viewers. You want an angry fight to watch. You don't just want a news person telling you the facts. And Donald Trump says this, and this. And Elizabeth Warren says this, and this. You decide. No, they want a person who's saying Donald Trump is racist and you need to watch and tell all your friends to watch this. It gets more viewers. Controversy and honestly opinion gets more viewers. So I don't fault them too much. I'm running my own little show, my own little podcast. I know controversy gets viewers. However, I've talked with close friends and I'm just going to be my authentic self. I'm not going to be divisive if I don't need to be. I'm not going to just get clickbait because I've seen myself try to do it and it was inauthentic and it's the same talking heads as everyone else. I'm going to tell you what's up and what's going on. And that's why you tune into this show. Okay? So I know we're doing things a little differently today. I'm going off script. I'm going on one take. And I'm glad that you guys are taking the time to listen because I do have all the insights and I will keep you guys updated with the actual readings and the actual news reports and actually what other media are saying and the actual facts and all of that. But I'm telling you right now that the New York Times is compromised. And so is Fox News, okay? Everyone's compromised. So you can listen to their opinions, but their opinions are not facts. And you're not a bad person for disagreeing with what the New York Times is telling you. You are not a bad person for disagreeing what Fox News is telling you. If you don't go against decent human rights and you have a good position, I'm willing to hear it. I'm willing to talk to anyone who wants on my podcast. And this is where I draw the line. I don't draw the line. Anyone. I want to hear their ideas. I want to tell them why they're wrong. I want to tell them why they're right. I am not going to call anyone a horrible, deranged person. Maybe I will, but that'll be after they truly prove themselves to be. Any openly racist people, any openly misogynistic people. And listen, these arguments about women's rights and gay rights, they're not just horrible people that are arguing against them. Some of them have religious faith. Some of them believe that women's rights are equal to men's rights. They're not horrible people for thinking that. That's just what they think. Some of them think that some races are categorized in different areas and that they're actually okay, but they're not, and they're self-inflicting themselves. And some think that the world is out to get those races. I want to hear all the facts, and I'm not going to do an I got you moment. I'm not. So let's hear it. If anybody wants to debate me, you can see me on debatemenow.com. Thank you for watching. And again, 2 presidential candidates have been endorsed for the first time. That's a sign that the media knows that the jig is up. The jig is up. They've got to adjust a little bit to the way they've always been trying to control the narrative. This is the Charles Frank Show. You can email me at charles@luckyfrankstudios.com if you want to do a debate on debatemenow.com about this. And please subscribe. And please, please, please think for yourself. Thank you. Have a good one.